So I met Jennifer back in I want to say late 2018. Uh, I started going to this program for mental health in Riverside, and it was August, I believe, when I started going there. Um, However, I didn't actually become friends with Jennifer until probably late September, early November, and then it was in I think February. I think it was in February. She told me who she was, and uh, that's when I went. I asked her if she wanted me to go to her parent sentencing as emotional support, and she said she would love that. And that's kind of how our relationship became solidified, I guess, or became, just. I do I would we would go to the bars, just me and her sometimes in downtown, and she lived behind RCC at the time, not anymore. And I lived all the way by UCR, and I would walk, or I would take, or we would meet up at the bar, this bar where we do karaoke. We didn't really drink much, but it was a bar where we do karaoke, and I would walk her home because I didn't want her walking home alone at night. So I'd walk her home, and then I'd walk all the way back to my place. And I think that things like that, little things like that, kind of stick with you when you become friends with someone who is so genuine and really appreciates everything that you do. And I would just want to say that at the time, when I first met her, I was kind of I was kind of mean to people, but that was only because I didn't want people to get close to me. And then she kind of weaseled her way into my heart, and we've been friends ever since. Yeah, even though she was harassing us and stalking us and everything and taking whatever and posting it and telling lies, uh, I don't want anyone to necessarily harass her in any way. Um, I don't want anyone picking on anyone. And yeah, she did some stuff that is not good and was very wrong. Uh, but I'm not here to cause more of a fight with her or anything. This woman, the truth's gonna come out eventually. And I don't want anyone to harass her or pick on her in any way, shape, or form. Thank you. Sorry, I just had to show off a video or a picture I drew of Jennifer. Um, but I want to say that her videos about the court cases and stuff, they're pretty accurate. Just the things where she's talking about us, me, Jennifer, or she's talking about, well, not me particularly because she never mentions me, but she talks about things that I've been posting about her or whatever. Like, yeah, especially recently. But if you want to know more about it, I guess, or see more in detail, I have a whole YouTube channel. Not a whole YouTube channel based on it, but I have a YouTube channel where I talk about it in multiple videos. So yeah, it's my YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel is called JR Taylor. Sorry, I'm nervous. JR Taylor, capital J dot space, capital R dot space dot space TAYLOR, capital T. Just if you're curious, you don't have to watch it. I honestly don't care. But I will say that whatever she says next, I don't care. She can say whatever she wants about me at this point because she's not worth fighting over or arguing with. yeah, but I just want to say that whatever people say, or whatever is said about Jennifer, I will always be there for Jennifer, especially when someone's using her or taking advantage of her. I'm not gonna sit there and do nothing. I will open my mouth. And I guess people don't like that, but I'm actually a pretty shy person typically. When I don't like conflict, or I don't like drama. I try to avoid it at all costs. But when it comes to someone harassing or hurting the people I love, that's when I can't be quiet. That's when I have to take initiatives and fight back. And I will do so in a non-confrontational manner. I will do so by exposing the person for what they're doing. But at the same time, I will not call them names or curse at them or whatever. I will be as respectful as I possibly can be. So, yeah. Jennifer, I can say, yes, she is definitely very courageous and has so much strength. It's crazy to think, and it hurts to think about anyone ever hurting her. And just when I first met her, I couldn't tell you what she's been through when I first met her, because she seemed so happy or bubbly, and that was just kind of her thing. She was just always very bubbly with people. And when I met her, she was very she had a lot of secrets. And I remember she would write, because there was a sign-in sheet, she would write her name as Jen T. And my name is Jonathan Taylor, and I was always putting in John T. So I was thinking, I wonder what her last name is. So I asked her one day, and she told me we're not allowed to give out that information. I said, oh, okay, that's fine, don't worry. Then one day, she showed me a picture of her and her siblings on Mount Rubdo. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of kids. She was like, yeah, there's 13 of us. And I was like, oh, wow, your parents must really loved each other. And her reaction was just to be like, yeah. And then I don't know. But then one day, she came into our program crying. And I'm just gonna say the program. It was called Stepping Stones. She came to our program crying, or upset. She wasn't crying. She was upset. And I could tell something was bothering her. And it was just me and her, because it was super early in the morning. It was they had just opened. And I remember I was sitting in the lobby, and I asked her, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I remember looking at her and be like, "No, something's wrong. You want to go talk?" And so she said, "Yeah, I'd love that." So we went into into a room, an empty room, and we talked alone. And she told me, "My name is Jennifer Turpin. My family has been all over the news. My parents held us captive and were very abusive and are in prison right now." And then I interrupted her. I was like, "Oh my god, I know. Oh my god." And that's just all of a sudden everything just clicked. And I looked at her and I told her, and I said, "Wow, okay." But yeah, hold on. So as I was saying, yeah, so Jennifer revealed who she was to me, and I'm not gonna say I handled it very well, because I kind of freaked out. But she understood. And I remember I even had to look her up, or look up her family pictures, just to be sure it was her, because mind you, we were in a mental health clinic, and so. But Jennifer was saying that she was so terrified and scared to testify against them. Oops, sorry. And I asked if she wanted me to come there, to go there for emotional support. And she said, yes, I'd love that so much. So when the day came, I rode the bus, because at the time I was living in Paris, California. And I rode the bus to Riverside, which took over an hour. And it's only like a 20-something minute drive, though. But I took the bus, and I had a hell of a time trying to find the place, or find the room. Finally, I found it. When I got there, there was a shit ton of people just standing there by the door waiting to get in. And I texted Jennifer saying I was there. And all of a sudden, I hear someone come out and yell my name, or call for my name. They said, "Jonathan Taylor?" I said, "Here." And at the time, I was kind of like shocked because no one ever calls me Jonathan. At least not then. Now everyone calls me Jonathan. It sucks. But everyone just calls me JR. And I remember thinking I was in trouble because Jennifer wasn't allowed to tell anyone who she was. And I knew that if she could get in trouble. But luckily she didn't. And luckily they accepted me there. So when I came into the courtroom, I sat in one of the rows, and I waited for it to start. And when she came up, I stood right next to her as she gave her testimony. And I just wanted so badly to hug her and comfort her because she was terrified, and her parents were not even 10 feet away from us. But instead, I didn't. But in my head, I just really wanted to like hug her and let her know that she's okay. Or I did put my hand on her back, I think. I don't know. I forgot. Either that, or I was thinking, oh my god, I wish I could just put my hand on her back. I know that I didn't hug her, though, because I knew that would probably get me in trouble or be considered inappropriate. But I love Jennifer so much. My heart goes out to her. Yeah, so it's true that the pictures and stuff on her YouTube that she was using came from public accounts. However, none of the Turpins ever used their real names on Instagram or whatever, on social media. So it's kind of creepy that she found out who they were and started taking their pictures and videos and stuff from their social medias and posting it. She was even taking my YouTube videos and was manipulating people into thinking that I was picking on Jennifer. Don't really want to get into all that again. My YouTube channel says it all. There's a couple videos on there. But just because an account is public doesn't mean that you're giving the okay for someone to take your pictures and using them, especially in the way that she was. And I mean, if she really was concerned about the kids, she would have taken the videos down, because that was preventing the older Turpins from seeing them while they were still in foster care, because they didn't want to be associated with them, because of that. It was just a whole bunch of stuff that was happening. She knew about that because the lawyers had to get involved. That's why she put her videos on unlisted or private or something. And then recently she just put them back up on public. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, I can understand the mindset of, being like, oh, well, they're public images, There's a reason why they were using fake names. They didn't want just anyone seeing them, And that was invading their privacy. And they're humans. They're people. They're not like they're not like animals in the zoo. Like, they're people. And it's irritating and frustrating because they deserve to live a normal life. They deserve to not have to relive the memories if someone recognizes them on the street. Unless, like Jennifer, she went on TV and talked about it, That's her choice. Like, I don't understand that mindset. Like, why? I don't know. But yeah. It was just a lot. And the other kids probably will never come public about it. And that's okay, because they don't need to. They don't have to. Hello, it's about 9 a.m. when I'm actually filming this. Um, I would just like to say that when I first met Jennifer, I was a little mean to people, and it wasn't because I wanted to be mean. It wasn't because, hi Katrina. It wasn't because I enjoyed being mean. It was because I was dealing with a lot, and I had just gotten out of a friendship where I had to end things because he was very abusive, and we were like roommates. But stop. It's a little it was a little bit traumatic, and it hurt a lot, actually. And so I ended up having to leave the situation, and I moved in with my sister. And at the time, I felt like everything was against me. My parents passed away when I was still in high school. I was kind of like house hopping, and I ended up living at a sober living house for a bit. Not because I ever did drugs or anything, but because it was either that or homelessness. And then I ended up moving in with a friend who we reconnected in this sober living house, and then he ended up doing meth and stuff, and just became an awful person to me. I'm not saying he's an awful person though, but I hope he's doing okay. But then I had to leave the situation because it got to a point where I just couldn't handle it anymore. And so when I started going to this program in Riverside after I was moving in with my sister, I shared a little bit of my story in group, and there was a girl who kind of sat there, and after the group she came up to me and said, she said, can I just say that I know exactly how you feel. And I remember thinking, no you don't. But then that girl ends up becoming one of my greatest friends in the whole wide world, and I would do anything for her. I almost drowned for her. That's a whole nother story though. But yeah, I love Jennifer Turpin so much, and she has changed my life in ways that I never even thought was possible. So I love you, Jen.